Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for basically breaking news, or officially breaking news. It was sort of put out there yesterday in the media and nothing officially confirmed, but obviously today, all teams in the Champions League and European competition in general had to submit their 25-man squads. And there's been, obviously, the size of our squad, we've had a few admissions from our squad, two more than what we would have to normally, and yeah, to say it's caused a bit of a stir in the fan base is an understatement. With one of them anyway, one of the two, in my opinion. As the title says, and as the thumbnail gives away, the two players in question are Mesut Ozil and Sokratis. I mean, there's a few other admissions as well, Saliba and Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli, obviously, that's always going to happen because he's not going to be fit enough or available to play in the said matches for the group stages. So there's no point of having a space taken up by players not available in the first place. Saliba, I think we're still trying to get him out on loan. Looks like we're trying to loan him to a Championship club. And worst case scenario, if it doesn't happen, he ends up staying beyond the 16th. He's going to be, I assume, he'll be put in the Premier League squad anyway. But yeah, in my opinion, am I really surprised at the two big omissions in Mesut Ozil and Sokratis? And Sokratis definitely not, just because it was clear in the last few days we've been trying to get rid of him in the transfer window, trying to get to PSG, sending PSG and Roma and places like that, and Napoli for most of the summer. So it was clear he was not part of Arteta's plans anyway. Mesut Ozil, I'm not shocked. Disappointed, yeah. Just because I do think it is more so the club saying having more control in that situation. I will be going through the entire Europa League squad that we put forward for the group stage, and let's be clear, it's just a group stage, because after the group stage is obviously we've got winter transfer window, so then people after that, people are coming after in the January window to have a chance to, teams have a chance that in Europe have a chance to put forward the new squads and any adjustments here and there and everywhere for the rest of the competition. So cause there's a few people I've seen that sort of got confused and thinking it's for the whole competition completely. But yeah, I think it does, as I was saying, it does seem like the club are having more control when it comes to Ozil being out of the squad than we're led to believe. I think you might have had if you hadn't put the tweet out we mentioned last night on my night not chat stream last night. If he doesn't do that tweet and say publicly and bring the club into not disrepute, but put shines a bad light on them, so to speak, then what already was, he might have had I think there was a chance they would have allowed him to be picked for the Europa League group stages. I think that's was a nail in the coffin. And also, since this news has officially come out, there's little, again, it's not official, nothing. He's just hearsay at the moment until we hear different. That the club are in talks with his people to try and terminate his contract ASAP. I don't think it will happen personally, and if you ask me, I think at some point he's got to be involved in somewhere along the line, because why the fuck are we then paying 350k a week to Mesut if we're not going to allow him to play and just turn up to train every week? He's got no chance of actually getting in the next day squad for any competition. And so going to go into the chat quickly. Big up Brownie. Hey mate, you're feeling strong today. But you last night, Evans asked Sam if you're okay. Yeah, I'm fine. As I said, so certain things when you're seeing people do less content and shittier content, or a person in general, who me and Sam know, and especially that person's tried causing shit for my channel and everyone else's channel when they're doing live streams and things like that. And then literally they disappear. Nothing happens. All the things that were happening to us then stop. Then he reappears with 2 new channels and things like that. And so then the things did start up again. And then when I started fucking put 2 and 2 together again and saying, "Oh, here we go again." Basically, what a coincidence! He's back. Suddenly, it's all stopped, and some his content is slowed all the way down. No matter what he said, "Oh, I broke my phone." Fuck off. And he's getting that person gets subscribers through that literally through the roof, basically at a vast rate for someone who's got so little when he's showing, and his content is taking the situation that he caused in the first place out of the equation. The content he does isn't really that good, and yeah, it's just my thing, and it frustrates me. It gets to me sometimes that when I'm putting out 10 days in a row content every time, and better, in my opinion, far better content, and in terms of getting it out, beating the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, as they put it, it's a pain in the ass. And I'm here still struggling to get them numbers up. But anyway, that's another, as I said, that's a whole other thing. Morning, pick up the line. Hope all is well. Yeah, fantastic. Hope you're still feeling better and on the road to recovery as well. Pick up Sam in the chat. This was expected, really, considering we have 2 players too many for the registration. That is the point. That is a point as well. Well, the Ozil thing was expected for me when he put out that tweet the other day about the Gunnosaurus thing. That sort of, for me, that rammed it home. That sort of nail in the coffin, so to speak. Sokratis, Sokratis already knew before, when obviously they talk about 2 players overboard, over what we need, and this, that, and the other. The fact that it was trying to get rid of him over the weekend and send him out to PSG, that desperate to get rid of him, it's clear that he's not part of Arteta's plans no matter what. So he wasn't going to be in any of our squads for the League Cup, FA Cup when that comes back, Europa League, and obviously Premier League. Oh dear. I haven't heard. This is a rumor I haven't heard. Apparently, according to Brownie, just my cameras. I'm hearing stronger rumours now that he's prepared to sue the club for defamation of character. From what I've seen and heard, especially recently, they haven't done anything publicly to defamate his character. Basically, all they've done is drop him from the squad. Basically, and if anything, if he knows who leaked that fucking information out, because no way the club itself would leak that information out, and not allow the other 2 to be leaked out, them 2 other players. Move this and adjust my camera again. So if anything, he needs to find out who leaked that who was the rat that leaked the information in the first place, because when he finds that out, he can then sue that person, because that's the person who's defamated his character, whatever you want to call it. And then since then, he's done nothing but shit. Basically, he's been on the bench since that whole Surrey situation. He's been on the bench twice and not been in the entire matchday squad at all since Southampton away. Yeah, he's putting he obviously puts tweets out there when he's doing his training and all that, going, "Oh, getting ready for the next game, going to all that malarkey." And he was seeing videos as well yesterday with that train, so for the players that haven't gone out for international duty, doing their training and all that, the youth players, and obviously fist bumping Mikel Arteta. So for this, obviously then start the murmurs come out yesterday, and we confirmed today. It just rams home the club. In terms of Ozil, the club have more say over what inclusion Ozil is in this club going forward. It's like I said last time, that with the Gunnosaurus thing. If he's in hindsight, I think hindsight's a wonderful thing. And if he'd done maybe not put that tweet up, but still put the olive branch out there to the club, maybe that would have gone down better. But the fact of how he's put the tweet and how the wording of the tweet as well, you read the tweet, doesn't bode well. And as I said, it throws massive shade on the club in that situation, which and let's not get twisted. There was all this shade on that situation anyway, because obviously we've let go of our team mascot and made the guy redundant after 27 years of service. He earns 18 grand a week doing that. Yet we on the same day signed Thomas Partey, and apparently rumours are we've offered him his contract is over 200k a week. So you've got all that. You have all that to contend with as well. It's just like there's ways. It's literally just both sides. It's from a fan's point of view, from the outside perspective, it's literally muscling from both sides and seeing what one sticks to the wall and who fucking believes in who's taking what side in this, that, and the other. Melvyn in the chat shouted yourself. It's a shame. It's such a shame we are talking about Ozil when there's so much positivity about our club. And again, it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Yeah, it's just they're doing all this, and I don't want to be doing this, but I'm an Arsenal YouTube channel. I sort of have to give my point across on it for you guys to see it, and it's frustrating. It's annoying because the guy's got so much talent, and it's a waste of talent as well in the long run, because we're paying this guy 350k a week to do what he's not getting. He's pissed off the hierarchy so much they don't want him playing at all now. But whilst doing that, they can't get him off the books anyway because no one wants to buy him, because no one wants to pay them sort of wages. And for me, amongst all the fantastic business they've done, I think that's the biggest one thing they messed up with was this whole Ozil thing. When the transfer window was open, even though he didn't have a club, as far as we're aware, interested in him, they should have just by that paid the rest of his contract, the last few months of his contract, whatever it is. I know it's a lot in the COVID situation, this, that, and the other, but I'm sure they could have come to some sort of agreement where it could have been not all paid up front, maybe, but in stages over a certain amount of time, considering the circumstances, it will be paid back to him, this, that, and the other. And if not, obviously take him to court, But and they haven't. But there's rumours about they are now talking to his representatives to sort that out. Actually, but for me, they should have done it back in the window was open. I know he can obviously, if he's a free agent, sign for anyone anytime he wants, but it's sort of over amongst everything. Gets sort of rolled over. It's down the rug because let's not forget he put that interview out with David Ornstein in the Athletic, and again the wording he used in that didn't help the situation at all. There's faults on both sides, and it does my fucking loafing that we're talking about this. It's absolutely ridiculous, as Melvyn says. With so much positivity going around this club at the moment, things are looking good going forward on the pitch, off the pitch, in the sense of everything else bar this situation. But yet, this is the main talking point. It divides the fan base still. It just does my head in. And what's more frustrating? The thing is, what's not helping Arsenal in all this is obviously since he's put this tweet out, obviously since then he's now been fully excluded from the team. It's been round time now. He ain't playing, for fuck's sake. Don't even fucking responded to his offer publicly, which doesn't look good, so to say. It makes them look even worse. It comes across then, as I said, don't be stupid, basically. We ain't doing that. And it's just frustrating. But yeah, it does do my head in. We're in this situation. But hey, surely it's got to be over sooner rather than later. And if you've dropped him at the Europa League squad or whatever, if you can't, if these talks, what these rumours are true about, obviously trying to buy out his, terminate his contract or whatever, buy it out so he can go somewhere else and play football. That's what you want to do. If he still wants to play football and all that, but obviously, if that doesn't go ahead and he ends up staying, obviously, come what was it 16th? Or on Friday the 16th of October, if obviously that's still not he's still the case, he's still part of our, he's on our book, so to speak. We're going to have to put him in the Premier League squad. I was one of our members in the Premier League squad until obviously January, reassess in January, and then like the Europa League is all reassessed after January window's closed. Because otherwise, you've got to play on the books at 350k a week, twiddling his thumbs, and you're paying him a stupid wage in the current pandemic that we are in. As a whole, that's a lot of money. I'm sorry. That could go towards that could literally go towards better use. That could literally, they wouldn't have the embarrassment of Ozil actually paying the club to reimburse and rehire Gunnosaurus and get things back up running there, bring the guy back after 27 years and all that malarkey. But because they could then cut the middleman and just use it to bring him back anyway. They wouldn't have to fucking do what they've done or have the embarrassment of Mesut saying what he said in that tweet. Can we go through back into the chat? Football. So justice quickly. So you've got all that whole face in it. But Brownie saying, but if you were him and your career is coming to an end, and no one would go else for half the money. Take what you can until the contract ends and go to America for a massive contract. I get what you're saying, Brownie, but at the same time, he's been linked heavily with what was it, FC Dallas in the last 12 months, and obviously nothing's ever gone off there. He's always said as well he would want to, after obviously his stint in Premier League, he wants to go end his career in Turkey because of his Turkish background and things like that. So I think for that to happen, he would have to take a pay cut. Anyway, because obviously Turkish football don't pay them sort of wages as a whole. Steve saying, I think Ozil resigning distorted the expectations of many re-signing. Sorry, the club's new signs since then. Players started to expect more money, then they started negotiating with the club. But this is not just down to Ozil and his PR team. I put most of the blame out because he did his dog because he panicked and he went to Ozil's team, Ozil, and gave him this offered the 350. And I'm sorry, any footballer, good or bad, if you're offered 350 at any club, you're going to snap your hands off. I mean, look at Alexis Sanchez. So fucking, if you look at, he's a mercenary as well, because I talked about mercenaries the other day, Adam, and the fact that he was at Arsenal, he had, was it 150k a week he was getting in, and he left us, and straight away his wages went up to 500 or 600k a week at Man United. If you're going to be offered more money, of course you're going to go. It's just the fact that even PSG won't. This is PSG. I think the only ones that could afford his wages in this current, not even pre-COVID, during COVID, pre-COVID as well, could afford his current wages. Even they don't want him. And it's nothing to do with, or he's on too much wages. Just he ain't good enough in their eyes, in that sense, because they can afford his wages. This is the club that offered Neymar stupid amount of wages and like 9 or 10 hotels in the bloody United Emirates, sorry, United Abu Dhabi or whatever it was. Brownie saying if you're buying a contract out, then the player doesn't get 100% of the contract is worth. The incentive to players that he some. Again, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like why whilst he's doing that, we're happy to take money out of the club that way, as long as he's obviously they buy out his contract, or whether he's not going to get 100%. As he's saying, he can't be going around then at the same time throwing mud at the walls and vice versa as well, because not everything he's done is bad. It's just that obviously, club being the club, have got their thoughts and ideology. So he's saying, yeah. No one knows how much the lump sum is. In fact, the last time it spoke about terminating his contract, which was when we got rid of Mkhitaryan, the numbers were around, as a whole, for the bite the rest of his contract. I think it was around the 18 million mark. So he wouldn't be fucking piss poor. Let's not cut around the bush. Let's not fucking climb a river or anything there. Big up Simpy in the chat as well. How you doing? Hope you're all right. Big up Sunmain Barry as well from my Facebook page. Hope you're all right. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, as I said, they are all mercenaries, mate. Mercenaries. I'll get the words out eventually, but yeah, none of them love the club, but play for as long as they keep the job in there. Exactly, it's a job in it. That's the thing. It is a job in there. It's not like it was early 90s, pre-Premier League, really. I'll say Premier League, the Premier League. It's the early years of Premier League / before it, when it was players play for a club. It was that they did love the club. Obviously, if they'd moved on, they still love that club, but they'd move on and whatever. They weren't solely for the money and things like that. And as the Premier League's got bigger and bigger and bigger, the mercenaries comes out to shine. I mean, it says it all. Premier League was brought about to help the next generation of football, English football, basically, because obviously we did so well. We got to the semi-finals of the World Cup in 1990, and 2 years later the Premier League was born. Like off you go sort of thing. And it was all to literally help the homegrown talent and an elite competition, an elite level, basically. And after a few years, what was it? That was 92. We're in. Fast forward, say to. Say 98, 99, it's the homegrown talent, the English players coming through or playing for their respective clubs, even the experienced English players, they started getting pushed out, so we say, because clubs started looking further adrift and bringing in foreign players that obviously don't have that love for a couple of, and by doing that, they're offering them players more money. And then what really rammed it home was the summer of 2003 when a certain Russian bought the blue side of blue side of London, sorry. And from there, it's just got worse and worse and worse in terms of mercenaries. And then Man City, at 5 years down the line, came along. They buy it. They fucking muddy the water even more, and now we're in the situation where we are. It's not going to get any better in the long run. But yeah, big up, as he said, big up Simply. I always gone for that. We're going to go into the screen share now. I'm going to go through all your actual team so you can actually see who are actual players. I've got 5 goalkeepers, by the way. In fact, the reason behind this is obviously our first 3 goalkeepers are Bernd Leno, Renarsson, and Matt Macy. And our other 2 goalkeepers are James Hilson and Eliev. Apparently, the rumour is the first 3 keepers I've mentioned are in a protective bubble as it stands, with obviously our goalkeeping coach. And the idea of the other 2 having the other 2 on the list is because just in case someone in the original bubble gets symptoms or test positive, obviously then them three plus the goalkeeper coach would have to self-isolate, so you'd have two people outside the bubble to come in and deputise just in case, as a worst-case scenario. That's the rumours anyway. And then we go into our rest of our team here. Number 2, Hector Bellerin, Gabriel, Rob Holding, Cedric Suarez, and someone who actually people did think he would be dropped out of this, not just this squad, but Premier League squad as well. But it doesn't seem that's the case at all. Which again is good, because I'm all for competition for places and this, that, and the other. Squadron Mustafi, Callum Chambers, who's back in full training now, Pablo Mari, who'll be back in full training by the end of the international break, David Luiz, Seed Kolasinac, and Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney. But on here, what? Because this is the official UEFA website, by the way. They've got Tierney as a midfielder and not a defender, which is confusing because everyone knows he's a defender. He's the left back, plus plays left centre back sometimes. But yeah, that is what it is. That's a bit confusing. But going by this list as a whole, it's showing Arteta's intention for this competition. Even though we've got a piss easy, full due respect, a piss easy group, he ain't taking no prisoners, basically, so to speak. Other midfielders, because Patrick Tierney's a midfielder, apparently. Fucking hell. Southgate putting this fucking list up on UEFA's website. We have number 8, Danny Ceballos, Willian, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, number 18, and our new Patrick Vieira sort of midfielder, Thomas Partey, yeah. Mohamed El Neni, Granit Xhaka, and then to finish up, we've got 3 out and out forwards in Lacazette, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and club captain, and Nicolas Pepe. But obviously, in terms of forwards, you can sort of add Willian to that argument as well, as a forward-thinking player. Even sort of throwing Ainsley as well, because obviously if he's playing wing back, you are technically, as a midfield, it's effectively a winger, effectively, in that when it comes to wing backs. And yeah, that's the official Arsenal squad list for the Europa League group stages. So the group stages. Oh dear. So yeah, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on all this though? This whole Ozil and Sokratis being dropped. I mean, I think a few of you, Sam, have already said they weren't really surprised when it comes to Mesut and the whole situation of going after. And as I said, I'm not really surprised in that sense, but it's just disappointing that, as Melvyn says, we are talking about this again. This whole situation comes back to the light, back to the surface, when there's so much positivity we can be talking about at this moment in time, and we should be talking about. One sec. Clean up my notifications while I'm waiting for you guys to give your thoughts, and I'll put them in the chat. And yeah. Also, while we're waiting for that, if you're able to, go on the Arsenal website, put your membership details in or whatever, and you can listen for it's 9 minutes 41 seconds of an interview. Edu has a sit-down interview, basically going through obviously everything that's going on behind the scenes at Arsenal the last 6 to 7 months and things like that. Obviously, talking about Emmy Martinez as well. Everything that happened in the build-up to him, obviously, even this, that, and the other, and how initially, until Villa came in with a bid, he was happy to fight for number 1 spot. It was only when Aston Villa came in, and obviously they could promise him number 1 spot, that he actually said, "Okay, they can promise me it." Whereas obviously you've told me you can't. and obviously I'm a fighter. I want to fight for a spot, but at the same time, if someone's going to promise me something, they can guarantee it more than what you guys can. I'd like to go there. I mean, it's a really good interview actually, and it even talks about the Thomas Partey thing because he touched on that. He said that's 6-7 months in the making. Really good interview. So if you can go over and watch that, give it a shout out. And obviously, even the idiots, especially the idiots that gave him these sudden death threats over the weekend and abuse, and then go and apologise again and again, then come off social media completely. Oh, but yeah, that way, guys, I won't be on much longer. It isn't another 3-hour stream like it was last night. Oh dear. Well, all seem to have gone quiet. Also, who's watching the England game tonight? Obviously, Saka might have nothing's come out yet, but obviously a chance that Saka could be getting called up to the not England squad, but England starting 11 or on the bench at least. I could go into rant about that for half hour if you want. About not Saka and that side of it, but in a sense of the three idiots, as I like to call them, has now been reported they're going to be in contention for the Belgium squad and the Denmark squad from this weekend onwards. Which kind of pisses me off. Really gets on my nerve. Because yet again, it's literally money talks. One rule for the rich. You peasants, fuck off. You have to abide by them, and if you break them, you're punished. But you're a footballer, you're a celebrity, you play for a familiar club. That's okay. The police won't fine you. It's the law to fine you, but we won't fine you. We won't take no. We've got the evidence to prove you've done this, but don't be stupid. We can't fine a celebrity. People that can actually afford the fines. No, we'd rather go after the peasants, the people not in the public eye, that are struggling financially hand to mouth, put food on the table for their families and their kids. That makes perfect sense. Oh dear. I think I'll say that for another show. Actually, I might actually say that for tomorrow. I'll have to get this England game out of the way, because obviously I won't be doing. As you all know, I won't be doing a watch long for that tonight. I was thinking about it, but obviously I've got other plans. I'm on Richard's channel over and over and over again. I will actually try and put the link in. I'll get a link actually for that now, so I can put it in the chat here, and hopefully you guys can actually click on it and go over there, subscribe to him. Just have to bear with me 2 seconds. Open. And that. Copy the link. Over that. Oh, get out of here. Over to this. Over that. Edit. YouTube. That. Return. Just channel. I'm putting in the description. Try to put in the description as we speak. So bear with me, guys. That. Oh, we can do it. There we go. And then I'll save that. Hopefully it works. And hopefully that'll be in the description now. So I'm going to go over. What great show this is. Yeah, it's in the link now, guys. I've put his name there, his link's next to it. So go over, subscribe. Because obviously he's doing a show from 8 o'clock tonight. It's a really good show. Myself, Paul, who's been on the channel before, and another guest. Is it worth watching Southgate's tactics? It'd be Stokeland, but not England. I mean, that's the point. That's the thing. Doing the show tonight with Richard over on his channel, that'll save me actually the aggro and the agony and whatever other fucking word you want to throw into the vocab of watching an England game. But I have said I will do some international watch-alongs in this international break just to provide content for you guys that are watching, and obviously if I can find some people to come on the panel with me and do the watch-alongs, that'd be fantastic. And obviously, also we'll be doing watch-alongs. Obviously, not just Arsenal watch-along, majority Arsenal watch-alongs. Obviously, being an Arsenal channel, but we'll be throwing in the odd Champions League watch-alongs on the Tuesday and Wednesday night, along with our Thursday night journey to Norway, Ireland. I'm quite a different place now. But basically, yeah, I'll be doing that, adding that to the equality equation as well. And currently I haven't decided, but I will decide in the next day or two if I'll be doing a watch along for Rangers versus Celtic on the Old Firm in the lunchtime kickoff on a day that obviously early on the day before we play at Man City. So you get a bit of a double bubble on the day, along with all the previews. Behave yourself, Brownie, behave yourself. You've got to behave now. Talking to English people, well, I say I'm British and Irish myself, but majority English. So he needs to sort of rein it in there. Oh dear. Oh. To be honest, it would have surprised me if Wales actually won, even though Giggs is no better than Southgate, but fucking hell, come on. He's out to be a poor fucking 0-0 draw. They're both that bad, but fucking Southgate's even worse. I mean, imagine picking a winger, an actual winger, and naming in your squad as a defender. It's like, fucking seriously. And again, this is what I said last night. This is why I lost interest watching English football on the international stage. I mean, because it just doesn't excite me anymore watching England. But as I said, that we'll get the whole GIF on that. Go and watch my stream from last night. Oh yes, I don't want to bring that mood down, but yeah, I'm going to wrap things up. I think I've pretty much covered the main topic of this stream. Just I hope now, even though it's going to be muddy water still between the Ozil itself and the club, I hope someone can bang both their heads together and fucking sort this out, not publicly, privately, and stop the public battling back and forth, because this ain't good. It doesn't look bode well for either side. And this is another reason why this is another reason why other clubs won't buy Ozil, because of how he's behaved in certain situations. Taking out the equation, the thing that the message he put out about what was happening over in China. Taking that out of the equation, everything else hasn't made him look good at all. Okay, Cycling Gunnosaurus situation, obviously that's sort of within the fan base side of things, that helps out a bit. He sort of, but at the same time, it hasn't. As I said, it didn't bode well. One sec, oh bloody hell, here we go. Big up Kevin in the chat, by the way. Big up yourself. Hope you're keeping well. Hope you're keeping well as well. And also, John is saying this man is not starting Grealish in this form. He's drunk or something. Well, we didn't fucking start him. He played him for 10 minutes. Over two internationals before the season was started. He played him in 2 internationals at once, 10-minute wise, over 2 internationals. He'd rather play 3 defensive-minded midfielders against Iceland and Denmark, respectively. What does that tell you? I just think Southgate as a whole, he has. It does seem like he's got a sort of a bend. It's something gone off when he obviously time at Villa when he was playing. Something went off there. He still has a grudge over the club. I bet Grealish slagged him off or called him out for 40 years. Wouldn't surprise me. Really wouldn't. Kevin's asking, what are your thoughts on Arsenal linked with Norwich midfielder Brownie? Do we really, honestly, do we really need that sort of player? No disrespect, I'm not saying because of where he's playing at or anything like that. It's just we've got a lot of midfielders as it is. We need more creativity, not defence. We've got too many defence-minded. And people will say, "Oh, he can create. He can do this. He can push forward a bit more, and help out create." But not really. I mean, all due respect, even the season it came up from the Championship a couple of years back, it was a more last man, that protective wall for the midfield, not midfield, the defence. Sorry. So I don't really think we need it. It'd make more sense if we're looking for creative midfielders in an attacking sense. It'd make more sense for us to go after the guy from Benrahma from Brentford and do a deal there where also, for example, a straight swap loan both ways. They have Saliba for the season on loan because we're trying to get him out on loan, get some experience. And yeah, being in Benrahma, and then obviously the option to buy the guy, and obviously, but with Saliba, obviously bring him back, and for next season he's one of our main centre backs. Because let's not beat around the bush. Everyone's all worried. Oh no, we've built him up with this thing, and he's not in the first team. What's going on? Is there something wrong? Have they miscalculated or something? No, it's literally just down to match fitness, and you've got to remember. We've got experience. We've obviously got Gabriel who's coming in, topped up to water, and this, that, and the other. We've also, because we couldn't get rid of enough centre backs, just the centre backs ahead of him at the moment in Mustafi and David Luiz and Pablo Mari. You've got to remember, Sokratis, Mustafi, and Luiz, all three of them players, their contracts run out this next summer. So that would be a perfect opportunity for him then to come back. Obviously, the two players in Gabriel and Pablo Mari have that year experience beyond them, so then they can use the experience they've learned from new players and playing themselves. They can then pass on to Saliba and ease him in for next season, so to speak. To be honest, I'm sort of disappointed he wasn't put in the Europa League squad just because with the quality the players that we're having to face in this Europa League competition in the group stages wise, it wouldn't have done him any harm actually to play in them games. Unless he gets injured, obviously, in them 6 games, play him in them 6 games. What's the worst that can happen? He's going to be playing alongside some defenders of experience and things like that, so he's not going to be on his own or anything like that. So, but I don't know. I mean, the fact that the club gave him number 4, people need to relax. They wouldn't give him. They wouldn't give someone a first team squad number if they had no intention of ever using him at all in his entire contract at Arsenal. I get what you're saying, but for me, and I get what you're saying there, John. But at the same time, I was just basically from what I saw, really brief parts when he came up near the end, but especially last season, he wasn't really that offensive because of what, and even then, in the offensive side, he's that creative midfielder we need. There are, as I said, there are better creative midfielders in the Championship, in my opinion, that we should be going for, i.e. the guy from Brentford, if anything. Last one before we wrap things up. Karri's saying in the chat, should Arsenal try and buy a striker next window? Lacazette might be struggling and too expensive on the bench. Being honest, at this moment in time, I don't think we. At this moment in time, I don't think we need a striker. Obviously, things can change between now and January. So, but at this moment in time, I don't think we do need a striker because even if Lacazette dips in out of form, we've got Eddie coming off the bench who can score as well, who has been scoring. And let's not get it wrong as twisted or anything like that. Lacazette, it's been our most informed striker at the start of the season. I know it's only a few games, but he scored in every Premier League game by Liverpool. No, Liverpool he scored against. Fulham he scored against. Oh yeah, Sheffield United. Yeah, so out of 4 games he played in 3 and scored in all 3 of them games. The 4th game he was on the bench and don't think he got used in the Sheffield United game. So is that considered as well? Yeah, I get what you're saying about the expensive side of it because of his wages and that and the other, but competition again. It's competition. I want competition. And we need experienced competition, not just one. We can't just rely on Bamian to score all the goals. If whilst he's in form, if he picks up his form, why not keep him? Yeah, occasionally he might be on the bench here and there, but it's all about rotation and competition. I just going back to the guy at Norwich. I don't really. I wouldn't be. If it's someone Arteta wants, I'll get on board. If it's someone Arteta actually wants, then okay, I'll get on board with it and see if he can prove me wrong. But as I said, in my personal opinion, there are better players like the guy from Brentford, offensively and creativity-wise, that we can go out and get from the Championship between now and the 16th. But again, as I said, if it's an Arteta player, like I said all along, if it's someone Arteta wants, I'll totally get on board with it, and we'll push forward with that. Long Burkamp, big shout out to you as well. Long Burkamp, I haven't seen you consistently in a while now, so it's good to see you back in the chat. He's saying getting beyond. But yeah, I forgot his name. That tired. I literally got like 5 hours sleep in the end after last night's stream. Blind in now. Okay, that's just, like I said, if he's someone that Arteta specifically wants, then I'll be totally on board with it and give the guy a chance. And hopefully he'll be more offensive than what I've seen of him when he was at Norwich last season in the Premier League. Which you'd stand the reason that should be the case considering the sort of players we're playing with at Arsenal. Kevin's saying if we're looking at loaning that Saliba to a Championship side like Norwich, why don't we get a season-long loan Saliba the other way, which improves Saliba? I can better our attacking midfield. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and it does seem like we are trying not to get rid of him. Let's get the words right. We are trying to loan him out to get some more experience in the Championship. To be honest, Championship would be ideal because of how more physically demanding that the Championship is. Game to game basis is not it's not an easy league at all. Compared to the Premier League, it's very up there as well because of how competitive it is at both ends of the table, so to speak. So yeah, you know what? I'll get on board again. It's as I said, if it's players that Arteta wants coming in as well, I'm totally on board with that. And I'll totally be like, okay, sure, I'll give the guy a chance. I'm not like other people who are like, I don't want this player. What the fuck are we doing? This guy hasn't got a clue. I'll give people a chance. I can't be fairer than that. It's a good one. As the strikers, we have Nketiah and Martinelli. Martinelli's the time the January window opens, we've got to remember Martinelli will be back in playing for the club as well. Oh, you could play left wing and Aubameyang play striker. Exactly. Big up COVID. Arsenal Misfit. Hope you're all well and keeping strong, mate. Yeah, apparently he's on the road to recovery, which is fantastic news, by the way. But yeah, that's enough. But in terms of the actual Europa League squad list thing there, in terms of like the Martinelli not being in the squad, it's just for the group. This squad list is only for group stage, because obviously you got the winter window. You got the winter window, sorry, and then from that, all teams that are in the European competition still, be it Champions League or Europa League, then get a chance to jiggle things about in their squads, and then put a list forward that continues throughout the rest of the competition, knockout phase. So people need to chill. Martinelli will be in the European competition, assuming you don't fucking somehow, but by some bizarre miracle, bottle the group stages and get knocked out. Imagine that, bloody hell. The shit that'll come our way. We've got knocked out of the Europa League. Jesus. It won't happen, but you know what I'm saying. Steve saying, I agree, Ryan. If Arteta wants to play, then we should get him. Exactly. And the fans, more importantly, the fans, all fans, by the way, need to get on board and stop bitching about it. Oh, the ball aren't backing Arteta. Well, clearly they fucking are, because every player that he's wanted, Cedric Suarez, Pablo Mari, Willian, Thomas Partey, do I need to go on? Gabriel, sorry, all players that he has identified that we need to strengthen this squad, strengthen this team, take us forward. And what have the board done and the owner done? They've backed him. So people need to get off his back there in terms of signings. If it's what he wants, get on board with it. Not everyone's going to work out, by the way, but you give them a fucking chance. It ain't that fucking hard. Do you think Liverpool? I mean, John's in the chat. When Liverpool signed Mane from Southampton, it was at a mid-table relegation team there, coming from there. Wijnaldum, who'd just been relegated, by the way, and got a bad rep at Newcastle after one season. Do you think Newcastle fans are fucking jumping for joy when they sign these players? No, but they gave them a chance. And then players have proved themselves. So why can't it happen here? Lund Bergkamp saying, I really don't see the point in loaning that Saliba to the Championship. If he wanted to go back to France on loan because of family issues, that's fine. Because how does a loan to the Championship make any sense? I get what you're saying, and I personally, especially when the Europa League groups draw was made last week, I said personally, it makes if we don't loan him out now, that'd be okay because we can use him in Europa League in the group games. That makes more sense. I'm a bit miffed that we're still trying to loan him out and things like that. He hasn't been included in this current squad for the Europa League. But it is what it is, and it's just. As I said, it is frustrating, but it is what it is. Clear the cupboard, Arteta and all that know best. So we've got to sort of give him a bit of leeway there. But as you said, it doesn't make sense because obviously the whole point of loaning back to France in the first place was to allow him to be with his family for another year, for a few more months, and grieve with them with everything that's happened there. And also get more football, and hopefully, assuming everything goes ahead and goes according to plan, and we don't have another lockdown and the season gets called off, it gets game time as well. But yeah, for me, as I said, when the draw was made for Europa League, it made more sense to keep hold of him in the end and actually give him game time in the Europa League. And even throw him out in the old League Cup games because and occasionally against the lesser opposition that are going to be scrapping for survival. Them sort of games, things like that. I mean, I don't. This one here from us, I don't think this is the case for us. I do, I do believe Arteta does rate Salih because otherwise he would have brought him in and had him involved in the FA Cup final situation in all the celebrations that went on afterwards. If he didn't rate him, we wouldn't have had him there. I think it's more personally just down to he didn't get the game time because the whole point of us loaning him back to St Etienne last season was so he got a bit more game time, improved his game, this, that, and the other. And obviously, over in France, the season was cancelled and not done in void, but basically just cancelled and stopped back in April. So he hasn't actually played a game of. And also last season he was in and out of the Saint Etienne team and coming back and forth between Saint Etienne and London with a few injuries here and there. So he didn't really get the game time he wanted to improve himself. And he also said the whole reason I wanted to go back was to spend a season back there, improve my game, come back this season fully fighting and ready to go. And he never really got that. Sometimes down to injuries, sometimes down to injury, and also you got to include the COVID situation and what happened in the season being cancelled over there in France. And then obviously amongst all that, he's lost his mother over the summer, so he's still grieving there. Lon Burkett saying, "Why would I try to keep Mustafi and Sokratis and loan out Saliba? I can see you saying we need him in a couple of months. I do think we need. To be honest, I think we do need him now. But it's literally, as I said, the Velvies about Sokratis being dropped out in the news today about being dropped out of the Europa League. It's because he's not part of Arteta's plans. The fact that we were breaking our neck over the weekend, putting feelers out there to PSG and Roma to try and take Sokratis and get him off our fucking books, that speaks volumes. Mustafi is that's a hard one as well because the guy's injured and even though he has improved as well, let's not get twisted. He did improve under Arteta when Arteta came in with squad one. But it is hard to get rid of players when they're on stupid wages, like Sokratis and Mustafi, with all due respect. But also Mustafi, he's performing better under Mikel. It's also hard to get out when they're injured because you can't have a medical enough. You can't pass full medicals and things like that. And not many clubs want to take that risk because obviously they go out and buy that player, say Mustafi, spend a bit of money on him. And obviously he'll come back from that injury and probably get another injury, things like that. So there's that risk as well. So we need to prove it. Mustafi, I can sort of get on board until January. I think January we need to do the old heave-ho sort of thing and sort of bye-bye and make some money because, as I said, Sokratis and David Luiz, their contracts run out. We need to make some money from somewhere out of them three. Going back into the chat. If we can learn to well, we should be because game time is better than sitting on the bench. He needs to learn his craft and improve his game, and I think that's what I'm saying. The whole point of him wanting to go back to Saint Etienne when we initially brought him last summer was to learn his craft a bit more, improve himself, improve the game, and this, that, and the other. And he never really got that because as soon as you get one of games together, I think he had that two big injuries. He had to come back to London Colony and recover from over the season. Early on in the season as well, but then once after the second time, he sort of went back, and there was no issue. No, but then obviously COVID hit, and as we know, the French Ligue 1 and all that got cancelled. So there was no. He had to sit twiddling his thumbs then, and he couldn't come back to us as a player on our books until last season it ended for us. And amongst all that, as I said, he has lost his mum, so that him and his family are still grieving. So he still wanted it. Now, him and Arteta have spoken, and they did want him to get some more game time, and that should do hopefully get everything he was planning to do last season, this season, if not at Arsenal, somewhere else. And obviously, with the fact we couldn't get Sokratis off the books or Mustafi and players like that, or Rob Holding as well. Let's not forget Rob Holding isn't perfect. At one point, he looked like he was going out. But personal terms, in terms of wages and the agreement of who's going to pay X amount of the wages, this, that, and the other, sort of stumbled that. And yeah, but again, thank you, Ivan Gazidis, for that. Thank you. So yeah, it's just if we was able to get rid of the lots of Sokratis and Rob Holding and possibly Mustafi, there'll be no talk of Saliba going out on loan. 100% back that right now. Kirk Fletcher, big up to you in the chat, by the way. My damn internet connection sucks today. Oh, we all have it, mate. Don't worry. It all happens to us at the best of times. When I first started this channel, fucking internet I had at the time was fucking dead awful. It fucked me off at the start because it was fucking up what I was doing, what I was trying to do on this channel. But it is what it is. We all have that. Non Burkamp would say, if we miss out on top 4 again, we know why. Honestly, I get what you're saying because of players you couldn't get rid of. But I say, as I said, back come January, we need to sell either Mustafi or Sokratis or both, and make some money out of the 3 defenders out of the 3 at least make some money out of 2 of the 3 centre backs that are leaving at the end of the season, at least. Because otherwise, what's the fucking point? And that if we can't, in the meantime, we can't get Saliba out on loan, obviously can't play him in the Europa League now because he's not been put into the squad. So you're going to have to put him in the Premier League squad and play him against the full due respect, the lesser teams, build his confidence up there, and things and see how he goes from that. Because otherwise, as I said, he's not going to get any better sitting on the bench. And then obviously, as I said, come January, get Mustafi and Sokratis out, especially Sokratis, and then reassess things, and hopefully he can make it into the Europa League squad going forward, assuming he hasn't been loaned out and things like that. But I don't think, honestly, and this might come back and bite me on the arse, someone will clip this and put this out on social media and this, that, and the other. I don't think we're going to miss out on top 4 this season. I said before the season was starting, I did my Premier League predictions. I said I'll put us in 3rd, assuming we got either Partey or Hassan Aouar. That in that case, I'll put our team in 3rd. It would be a solid. For me, it would be a solid 3rd if we've got both Partey and Hassan Aouar. We got one of them, so that's something. As I've been saying, out of the 2, Partey evolves us. That's a different type of signing to Hassan. It's just that it's been down to the players now that we've got on the day itself, on the match days, in the big games. Because let's be honest, we got to turn some. If we hadn't drawn as half the games that we'd fucking drawn last season, we'd have been further up the table. I mean, the fact that we lost less games than Man City, who came 2nd, so to speak, volumes, is just turning in negative results into wins. Most of them we can put a run of games together and be consistent for once. And as I said, with players like Partey now coming in, and there's another thing, as I touched on earlier with Edu, and obviously the interview he's done on the Arsenal website, which I have said go and check it out. By the way, he does say that every signing they've made, they're not just good on the ball, mentality wise, they're levels above what we had at the club already. They're way above. They want to be winning league titles at Arsenal, things like that. They don't want to come here just to make it the numbers and top 4, yay. As a whole, they see the project we're trying to do and they're buying into it as well. But mentally, they're levels above what we've got, and what we had. Going back into the chat, so that's why I paused for a second. And that's what I did touch on that. As I'm saying, if he wasn't injured, it would have been easier to get rid of himself and Sokratis. But what does it help as well as wages? But it would have, I think, with Mustafi, getting him out would have been easy and getting Sokratis out, because obviously since Arteta's come, he's up to his game. He has actually performed far, far better. There's no question in that. So it would have been easier to get off the books. Even on his wages, it would have been easier. But the fact he's injured, he's been injured since the FA Cup semi-final. It's fucked us in that sense. That's what I'm saying. So come January now, assuming he's back fully fit, him and Sokratis will be sold. I think we have to make some money out of them. We cannot let 3 centre backs go for nothing come next summer. Taking out the equation of this global pandemic and COVID and all that, and what it's definitely affecting the clubs. And so, Sokratis, Sokratis' issue is his wages. I think he's more than happy to sit it out like Ozil. And 2 points on the go. One before you said, John says, you could still send out Sokratis to Portugal. Their transfer window is still open, Ryan. Okay. Well, someone sort that out then, please. Because even that sort of buys into why he's then not being put in the Europa League squad. But the fact that he hasn't played at all, really, apart from 5 minutes of an FA Cup final, literally 5 minutes. And even then, since the new season started, he hasn't even appeared on the bench. Hasn't really been spoken about, haven't been missed. The fact that we then spent the last 48 hours, 72 hours trying to get him out the club says he's not part of Mikel's plans. So yeah, if Portugal window's still open, when does that close? I'd like to know when that closes, because that's a possibility, and there's a few more days left in that. We need to do that, then reach out to lots of Braga and Benfica and Porto and Sporting Lisbon. Someone must want him. And in response to your message, obviously, as you know, Russ, he says, you might be right, Russ. Some of the wages are ridiculous. I've touched on that already, but this is all thanks to the likes of Ivan Gazidis and the previous regime. That we've got mediocre players on stupid wages. And that's what I mean polite when I say mediocre. Steve in the chat is also a big question about putting Sleeve out against lesser teams is, who are they? Villa just destroyed Liverpool. And I get what you're saying, but I think Liverpool's had switched off for the day, and literally, as I've said to John, and John's agreed with me as well, in terms of tactical awareness of the game itself, Klopp was too stubborn to change things, and it allowed things to get that out of control. Because if he hadn't been so stubborn, Klopp, in that game, there's no way. And he decided, okay, I need to change things and change the press here, the defensive line, drop it a bit further back, things like that. Then Liverpool could see the 7 would not have happened on Sunday. But because of his stubbornness and willing to prove people wrong, a bit like a Wenger-esque sort of situation where he wouldn't. But in this situation, it was a match situation where every time the Villa attacked, it looked vulnerable. Liverpool did. He didn't want to change it, and that's what cost him. So on another day, Villa don't score 7 goals against the Premier League champions. Let's put it that way. If he weren't so stubborn. But in terms of that thing, I mean, like the likes of your Crystal Palaces, your Newcastles. I mean, they're okay teams, and not fantastic teams. They're going to be that middle of the road, sort of middle table and down sort of teams. I'm just going to get the league table out and go through it all now, and sort of name some teams. Oh, yeah, I did touch this, Sam, while you were gone. What you've just put in the chat, I'll put that up in the chat now. And we'll go back up into the chat as well. So don't worry, I'm going to miss out on all your messages and all that. But yeah, teams like Southampton, Crystal Palace, as I said, Brighton, West Brom, Burnley, them sort of games home and away. You just see it. You ease him in that. You can ease him in that way. If obviously we can't load him out, easily leave him in that way, and see how he goes and build his confidence up that way. Yeah, because we can't load him out. What other alternatives have we got? It's all burning by the way, so I'm going to fucking burn up. I'm kidding. But yeah, that's what was it? Yeah, Sam. While you were gone, I did touch on this, saying I potentially missed out most of last season with a couple of injuries. He had to come back to us. Then he went back out to St Etienne when he recovered, and then obviously then COVID fucking hits, and then their season got cancelled in Ligue 1. He was sitting there twiddling his thumbs because he couldn't come back and be officially on our squad list for when the Premier League started and things like that. So he had to sit back anyway. And amongst all that, he's lost his mother as well. So he's still got the grief for that. And he's John saying the 26th for the Portuguese league. That's cool. I'm okay. I'm on board with that. So we've got plenty of time. I've got a few weeks to sort that out then. Go back up. So let me see all your comments, guys. This is a good one from John. The Premier League is much tighter now, Steve. I don't think you can do that so much in the Premier. Maybe Fulham and Sheffield United and Burnley. Yeah, I agree with that. If we score 3 more goals and concede 3 less in 6 different games of the 14 we drew, we would have been in Champions League this season. Exactly. And I think you've got to remember, Arteta had only half a season. And as I've touched on before on previous shows on this channel and other channels, in terms of there's a table that came out, a league table that they put, the actual FA that put out, where basically the league has started when Arteta first took charge for that Bournemouth away game in Boxing Day. We drew 1-1 from that game until the end of the season when we played Watford, obviously. If the season had started Boxing Day and obviously all the way through to Watford, we would have been a top. We were either, I think we were third or second in the league. And that's only half a season. So imagine what he can do for a whole season beyond with his own players. And that's the thing. He's still got some of the Wenger, Emery players, but some of them Wenger, Emery players have also improved. The Mustafi's, the Xhaka's sort of. Lacazette is scoring goals now where he wasn't initially struggling for form, things like that last season. He's shown the faith in likes of Eddie and Kelly, and Eddie's rewarding that with goals as well. When he comes on to play or starts and set and the other, he's fully integrated him into the squad. He really likes Emil Smith-Rowe, but obviously he needs to get him back to full fitness before he can start playing him. And yeah, the players, and also every signing we've made is players that he's told the club he wants, and the club have gone out from January till now and got them. Most of them apart from Hassan, but that's always going to be a struggle because of the Lyon president being a dickhead of what he is. We all know how he operates. So this is Long Burkamp's also saying if we win the Europa League, that's historic. Given our lack of European trophies, I'm praying that can get us over the line. Again, that's a possibility. Even if I don't even think it has to be one or the other. Why can't we go for both? Get the Champions League spot via the league, be it third or fourth, and get a European Cup under our belt. Rebuild our reputation in Europe. As you said, the lack of positive vibes you've had in Europe, in the sense of Europe against European finals getting battered 4-1 or robbed in the Champions League final in 2006 and things like that, bottling the UEFA Cup in 2000. Things need to change, and that would be a positive thing. Get third, fourth in the league, whatever. Get a European trophy under the belt. That's a whole nother level as well. At the same time, it puts us in a positive light, and it comes to Europe. The European teams start looking at you and going, okay, you've won a European trophy. What are you going to do next? Then we build from that, and then next season we're obviously in the Champions League first, and then Arteta's second full season. We see how far we can go in that competition there with the squad players we have then, and then obviously the third season we see if we can progress even further than that, and it's a season by season thing that comes to that. Obviously, I want to see us win the Champions League. I'd love Arsenal to be a club of what Liverpool is in Europe and have that pedigree, but it's going to take time now. We have to work to get towards where Liverpool are. It's going to take a lot of work, but under Arteta, I do have faith in him, and while the board backs him, there's every possibility that can happen. Because the last European trophy won is '94. It's far too long. But I think all the success we've had domestically since then, in terms of the '98 double, 2002 double, the '04 Invincibles, the FA Cups here and there as well. European trophies are another level. That's separating the men from the boys, so to speak. And don't get me wrong, we should have had at least 2 European titles to our name in the early 2000s. Obviously, UEFA Cup in 2000, we should have had that. In 2006, we should have been the champions of Europe. But for some dodgy refereeing and switching off at the last minute, it was not meant to be. But even then, in Emery's actual full season at the club, we should have won the Europa League. He was brought in specifically because of his pedigree in the Europa League, and in fact, he was a serial winner in that competition for Sevilla 3 times in a row. So the intent was, if he backed up in the league, at least we'd have the Europa League to fall back on anyway, because he had that experience. And look how that ended up. Got to a final. We're heavily favourites because obviously out of the 2, we weren't in the European competition, so there was more to fight for us. They had less to fight for, Chelsea. And we got battered. And then he wasn't. And then we all know what happened after that, the aftermath of it all. Oh. I mean, this is the point. The one stain in our history is the lack of European trophies. The Champions League lost press. It was depressing, yeah. That's what I'm saying. And that's the thing. As I said, I'd love to be in a situation where I'm like with John. With Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool, a fantastic European pedigree. And I'd love us to be in that situation now, but we're not. So we're going to have to work towards it. And Arteta has that mentality. I think he really, truly does have that mentality. He wants us not just to be the best in England and things like and winning league titles in England. He wants to win the Champions League, and that's a fantastic mentality to have, considering the fucking shit heap he walked into. So all these idiots out there complaining about his mentality, he's not good enough, he's not experienced enough. It's all words. Give the guy a fucking chance. Let him prove you wrong. I mean, yeah, this one. We lost the 95 Cup Winners' Cup final, Raheem, 2000 UEFA Cup final, penalty, Champions League final, we should have won. And that's what I'm saying. And obviously, not just that, you could also say we should have won the Europa League a couple of years ago. But the play, for whatever reason, it didn't. It all fell apart on that night. So effectively, along with obviously 94, we should have had 95, 2000 UEFA Cup, Champions League, and another UEFA or Europa League, whatever you called it, UEFA Cup behind us. But it's just been fucking rotten luck for us, and hope that needs to change. And I think it will change under Arteta, but people need to give him time. It's all a process. We need to give things time. Things will never, under any regime, any new manager, things aren't going to change just like that. We aren't Man City. We aren't Chelsea that has thrown money at the fucking situation with players and managers, and it just clicks. Things take time. When you do things the right way, it takes time. It's just certain people. Yeah, I don't want to go into that because it's just like ranting and yeah. Exactly, Sam, as well. That's what I'm saying. Eh? That's what I've been saying. I don't know where this came from, by the way, but Russ says, I dread to think why Brownie is picking up a married woman at the airport. Oh, God. Oh, God. Kevin saying, I would like to see Smith Rowe and Bogan given a chance. Again, so same here. I think with Smith Rowe, Arteta does really, really rate him. And it's more down to the fact he's injured at the moment. But when he's fully fit, I think we're going to see more Smith Rowe. As I said, Balogun as well. I think we'll see a lot of as well this season. A lot more than what we have done anyway. Going through the chat before we see what things are. Yeah, it's pretty much at the moment. And yeah. With that, I think I might put your pets on. Last one I put up actually is the last one. Just and don't DWTT, sorry, who's going to be honest, who's on the Arsenal fan circle channel with Ray later, by the way. Personally, I just want us to win the next game, one game at a time. It's important we improve each game based on form from the previous game. Exactly. It's a long, guys. It is a long ass season. We're going to be playing 60+ games, assuming fucking we don't get another lockdown and football's to come to a complete pause again. So yeah, as he says, one game. Just take it one game at a time, but win as well at the same process. Obviously, there is a few here and there, but yeah, mate. Imagine my thing. What was it? 2006. So I literally just turned 17. I was just about to turn 17. I was 16, just about to turn 17. The final was on the 17th. Birthday's on the 20th. So literally days before my 20th birthday. I was thinking, yes, my club in the Europe Champions League final. Perfect early birthday present for myself. This that, and the other. And also at that time, no London club had won the Champions League at the time. So I'm like, my team's going to be the first team to win the Champions League. I can get that. Hey, and obviously. UEFA and the referees decided to have a different matter and switched off for the equalising goal, sort of. If you know, you know, basically. But it is what it is. It was rotten luck. It was just weren't meant to be that night. It's painful. The closest we got to a Champions League final again was 2008, I think it was 2008 or 2009. We had United in the semi-finals, and then we lost the first leg 1-0 at Old Trafford. Didn't get no away goal, so O'Shea scored that game. And then second leg at home, you're thinking, okay, it's 1-0, but we can turn it around because at home advantage, fans and this, that, and the other. In fact, we've all turned up in our numbers, made sure we're getting behind the team and all that to try and get us to another Champions League final, and it would have been against Barcelona as well. I think it would have been. I think now. I'm actually trying to think. Bear with me a sec, because obviously 2006, no. AC Milan Liverpool in 2006, no, 2007. Man United were champions in 2008. I think it's 2009. It might be 2009. We would have had Barcelona in the final. Again, that would be not the perfect set for revenge and things like that. You know, Barcelona at the top of that fucking pick you. Us fans were like, yeah, we're going to that final one way or the other. We're going to fucking avenge 2006 one way or the other. And secondly, was literally within 10 minutes, the time was over. It was 3-0 on aggregate. Within 10 minutes to the fucking second leg. We lost the first leg 1-0. And Ronaldo scoring 40 yards out of fucking from the West. stupid of angles as well. And yet, he hit a ball. It went over and past our wall. And now Munya positioned himself in a strictly place, and it obviously didn't get across in time because he's not as big as a goalkeeper, Sam Munya, but his position was piss poor. That sort of contributed to the goal as well. And Everton fans were like, "Oh fuck this!" Started walking out after 10 minutes, and then it went 3-0 on the night, 4-0 on aggregate, and then Van Persie got a penalty in the second half. I think when we were attacking the lads were attacking the North Bank. Van Persie smashed it in, grabbed the ball, and literally threw it in temper down at the fucking penalty spot, the centre circle, because he was that pissed off, and rightly so, because certain people in the team let us down again. But it is what it is. Going back to 2006, yeah. Honestly thought when Sol put us in front, I think, as you said, we've just gone out of 10 men. I think, oh, fantastic. We're in a position where we've just made a sub as well, where we can sort of put in the sort of back 2 banks of 4 sort of situation and sort of protect what we've got and counter attack them. But we had that night as well. Let's not beat in the box. We had the equaliser was offside. The build-up played. I think it was Etu or Larson. One of the two was offside. I can't remember now. But even before that, we had 3 or 4 chances to kill the game. Henry had two chances at least. Lundberg had a chance. I think Fabregas had a chance as well. So we had chances to kill the game. We just didn't take a chance, and it came up and bit us in the last 15 minutes of the Champions League final. Arguably the biggest game in our club's history. Still, it is what it is, though. DWDT, thanks for the plug. Arsenal fan circle at 8:40 p.m. Exactly, no problem. We make it on anyway, so there's no problem there. We're all Guna family as well, so I've got no problem helping plug in other channels and this, that, and the other. And as I said, I'm on Richard's channel later on as well at 8:00, and the link's in my description now for his channel. So it's easier to find. Kevin, behave yourself. I'm not talking about agendas, for fuck's sake. Not getting into that debate again. There's an entire European agenda against us in fantasy. Just give Etu the goal. Keep Lehman. This is the thing. Letter of the law, the Lehman situation. Letter of the law, even back then, was the play sort of got continued. Ludovic Julie scored the goal, put the ball in the net, so the goal sort of counted was continue. Gets the ball in, that's it. In the aftermath of it all, gets the ball and we move on, and we sort of regroup and go again. But for some reason, the referee in that match started, no, go Paul. Because there was no reason not to play the advantage, because they literally fell to Ludovic Julie and he pulled it into an open goal. Scored 1-0. So they didn't lose anything from the foul. We didn't gain no advantage from it. Yet, no, decided to cancel out the goal, pull everything back. And then the players are going over, asking to be sent off. They got sent off. And then, as I said, the Etu goal, the build-up, I think it was either Etu himself, or I think it was Etu himself in the build-up last well for the last, but and literally because he held on to it for a split second longer than he should have done, Etu was slightly offside, and they freeze the frame even back then. I've got the fucking DVD. I can put it back. I can put it on. You freeze it dead on as he's about to pass it. Etu is at least a yard offside. But that's a whole different matter. I'm not saying there's an agenda. It's just fucking poor refereeing. And also, you've got to remember, Liverpool winning the Champions League the season prior, the way they did it. UEFA don't have a thing for English clubs, so fuck, did they want 2 English clubs literally winning the Champions League back to back, especially in both. Well, I really think we had a better season in Liverpool in the sense of domestically we finished 4th, they finished 5th. We just got in the last end of the season, this and the other. But yeah, just on the night, everything went against us, but that is what it is. I remember the year we got knocked out by PSV. For God's sake, yeah, that was literally the following season, our first season at the Emirates. First knockout round of fucking hell. We've got a thing of since we moved to the Emirates, getting knocked out the first knockout round. If you think about it, our first season there, played PSV, and we're heavily favourites to knock them out. We lost 1-0 in the away leg. Come back to our place, and then I'm trying to think who it scored now. For us. I think it was Adebayor scored the goal to get us back in the tie. Then we went 2-0 up on the like 2-1 I think the aggregate, and then the last. So we're literally about to go for it, and then the last dying seconds, like the 89th minute, fucking Alex for PSV, the centre back from a corner comes up, bang, goal, we're out. And because there's only like 2-3 minutes left, we haven't got enough time to recover, and like the players are just like, and we was out. But yeah, before all that, we were not only favourites to knock them out, we were amongst heavily favourites to get back to the final and sort of go one better, especially in the British betting side of it anyway. The irony is also Alex went to Chelsea a couple like 2 seasons later. He signed for Chelsea, and again scored against us for Chelsea at a free kick. All right, hi lads, you see my fan channel events, right vids. I know he's a United fan, but he is funny as fuck. Basically, both Goldbridge and the Flying Pig. Goldbridge is just that's the thing of Goldbridge, and he openly says it. He plays up to the camera. The whole thing is so that it's all literally just to get views and the clicks and people watching and promoting the channel and this, that, and the other. And for me, that's just fake. Again, I have no time for it. The fact he's a Forest fan. He's not a United fan. He's a Forest fan. Come on, let's be honest. That second yellow card that IVP got against Barcelona for kicking 8 seconds after the whistle was BS call. Of course it was. And I remember at the time, Mourinho. I think it's that same season. Mourinho was saying that literally UEFA had a thing for Barcelona because obviously Barcelona had certain sponsorships on their shirt all of a sudden that coincided with UEFA and things like that. So he was calling all the conspiracy theories in the world out as well. And yeah, as you said, literally in a 90,000 capacity stadium, fans booing and jeering this, that, and the other. The game was really tight at the time as well because we could have gone on and actually turned the game tie around. One goal away from actually going through at that specific time. And yeah, that ref blows the whistle. He doesn't hear it, so he kicks the ball and gets a straight red for it. A straight red. And even in Barcelona, certain Barcelona players are like, well, hang on. To be fair, we couldn't hear the whistle, so Barcelona players didn't even complain. This is the thing. So they didn't hear it. They even said we didn't hear it either. But oh no, we have to stand by the fucking wall apparently of that bullshit call. He could play up to the camera, but it's funny. If you don't laugh in life, then you have nothing for. As laughter is a key component of it. Oh, I laugh. Don't get me wrong. I find it hilarious that he gets this irate and dramatic over the most petty of things as well. The most bizarre things. Literally, he's even gone to the point where he's playing up to the camera and he's playing the fucking game of FIFA for fuck's sake. And he gets memed for that, and little clips get grabbed and put out into social media because he's like, "It's not over the line. It's not over the line. It's not a goal." 2 seconds later, Why did he do that to me? Again, I find them things like because it is. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It is, but there's other. I find other things far more entertaining and things to laugh at than an idiot in front of a green screen. I mean, I have this film. This when I laugh, there's films out there. There's fucking TVs, Danny Falls and Horses, things like that. I mean, but yeah, of course, him pretending to be a Man United fan and then having a fucking meltdown every time they could see the goal. It's for me hilarious, but yeah. And lastly, because I was meant to wrap this up about 10 minutes ago, but yeah, want Santi back as midfield coach when he retires. That guy oozes technique and intelligence. Yeah, totally agree. He'll be great for morale as well, and youngsters would listen to him. Again, I think that is something Arteta is looking into, because I think they have spoke back and forth about something like that going forward, and he does retire or whatever. But we'll have to wait and see if and when that happens. Personally, I'll be honest. During this summer, I was actually excited at the news that the possibility of Bergkamp coming back as a in the coaching setup, just because of who he is, for the same reasons. Great for morale. Youngsters are listening to him. Not just the youngsters, the players are listening to him as well, because of what he done for the club as a player as well, what he achieved. Oh dear. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I was going to wrap things up. Thanks for coming along and chatting along with me in the chat and making this worthwhile again. Closing all this up one sec. Oh, got a dislike. I wonder who did that. Actually, I've actually got a dislike. Seriously. Oh, okay, it is what it is. But again, gets me tracks. I know it. I know who's done it as well. Because ironically, again, it's so obvious it's that person because I've mentioned that person in this stream, and suddenly I've got a dislike again. What a surprise! Let's leave it as it is. I'll get all the buddy. See you later, Sam. I still get traction for the channel anyway. Likes or dislikes, it still gets me traction for the channel, so it doesn't bother me anymore. Just rather pathetic that he acts like that and makes out he doesn't act like it. It's not him when it is him. But yet when he gets dislikes on his live streams and accuses me when I prove him it isn't actually me, I don't get an apology. But yeah, it is what it is. As I said, thanks guys for coming along anyway. Appreciate it all, and hopefully you'll see me later on over on Richard's channel. Again, as I said, the link is in the description for Richard's channel. Go over there now, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's a really good podcast. Got a lot of topics to cover on that tonight. That's going to be a good hour or so. Well, we've got plus hour actually of a fantastic podcast. So yeah, in terms of on this channel, I think the next going to see me for watching on, bloody hell. And that's on Saturday, I believe. I'll just double check now. Let's back out. That, like that. Now I've got to find a bloody right group. I'm not doing Scotland versus Israel. I think it's Sunday, actually. So we'll see me again. One fucking day, you idiots. It is Saturday, yeah. I believe. Look at the fucking date, seriously. Yeah, Sunday, sorry. So next time you'll see me on the channel is unless anything else breaks in the meantime between now and then. Exactly, Steve, exactly. But the thing is, I know it is because it's no coincidence. I've sort of had a mini rant about the person earlier on and what they've been doing on their channel, this, that, and the other. Thing is, what makes it more funny is I've blocked their person and all the known channels that he owns. Arsenal vlogs and things like that. I blocked every single one of them, and yet he's still able to get onto my stream and just do that. So, but yeah, as I said, there's no coincidence. I did that. I had a little mini rant about what I think about his an honest opinion, and literally, dislike, fucking idiot. But yeah, it is what it is. You can see what I think of him now. So there's no hiding. There's no hiding. Why should I? At least I'm honest and like him. But yeah, as I said, back on Sunday. Unless anything else comes up, I have to come and do another. As I was saying, anything else that comes up in the next few days, Arsenal-wise, and I'll come back and do a stream for that. But otherwise, you'll see me Sunday at 4:45 for the England versus Belgium. Belgium are going to batter us. What else are we going to expect? I can't try and see if Sam and John and all that will be interested in coming on for that. But until next time, guys. Let's go into the chat. Wrong one. Football with Brownie saying, I'm five subs off bloody 200 and you're worrying about your subs last night. I'm not worried. I'm not worrying about my subs. It's the fact, as I said, I think again, I've touched on this earlier on in the stream briefly, but you go really into it because another, as you said, you're worried about me. So, no, it's not that. It's the fact that I'm putting consistent, really good content out there. And the reason I say really, I'm saying, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet. It's the fact that the tracks I'm getting, the likes, the views and the likes I'm getting for what I'm doing. It's proof in the pudding, really. Because I'm not a well-known Arsenal fan like from last. I'm not like other people. Another person from another channel that uses AFTV to grow their channel and then throw them under the bus and then reappear again when he needs them again and then piss off under the bus again. I do things organically, but it's 34 subs. I win. I think Simpy wins with his 509. I think he's got now. Simpy, big up to Simpy. Again, if you haven't subscribed to him, go and subscribe to Simpy as well. Doing some really good content over there. Again, consistent content like myself. And yeah, it's, as I say, it's just frustrating that this other person, who's not related to AFTV, by the way, he wants to be. I think clearly he wants to be at some point, but even on his original channel, the content weren't nowhere near the standard that I put out, basically, if I'm going to be brutally honest. And yet he had over 1,000 fucking subs. Like, here I am trying to get fucking 500 still. It's a hard graft, but at the end of the day, when I get to it, it'll be worth it, because I start doing things honestly, and that's the content I'm doing is actually good. And yeah, seeing your comment as us as well. I love your honesty, Mark. I'm an honest person. If I've got a problem, if I've got a problem with someone, I'll say it. End of the day, and obviously I have had arguments with Sam and Jonathan, and I have had arguments with someone else about a month ago now. About a good month. It feels like a month ago now. Since we had that, the other person had an argument. Well, say privately, it's in Twitter DMs, but in the fucking group chat, in the group DM, so everyone got to fucking see it. Basically, poor guys. Oh dear. But yeah, it's just. I just find it funny that this person I'm talking about now, literally. This person I'm talking about literally says comes and attacking me when he has 2 dislikes on a live stream when he's on his original channel. I screenshotted and proved it wasn't actually me that disliked. That was either the dislikes. In fact, I actually liked the fucking stream because I was being nice to him at the time. I took it away afterwards, just out of spite. Because I was like, fuck you, why am I being nice to you? You're going to be a dick to me. Because he never apologised either. After I proved it, I sent over to certain person, that person passed it over to him, and I even then found him and passed it on to him as well personally. Never got an apology out of it. It was just, once he knew he was in the shit and he fucked up, he was like, making every excuse in the fucking book to try and get out of it. Oh, right. But yeah, in terms of words 789, you're all about the title to this channel. Yes, it is very much true. If you want, I can literally get the link back up on the screen. Actually, I'll show you the full squad lineup for Europa League, so you know I'm not clickbaiting or nothing, because I don't want all that crap coming up my way. You tell me we lost Ozil and Gunnosaurus. Well, we've lost Gunnosaurus as a full-time thing by the looks of it, and this is club, which I think they will eventually, because that person has been put on publicly. And in fact, the fan base has put a crowdfunding page or GoFundMe page together to raise enough money for the club to bring him back in this, that, and the other. I think the club will eventually have to bend the knee there with Gunnosaurus. But in terms of Ozil, yeah, he has been dropped. Sokratis has also been dropped from this Europa League squad for the group stages, and no matter what, they will not be featuring for Arsenal in Europe in the group stage at least. But as I said, as I said earlier in the stream, which you can go back and watch, I think Sokratis and Mustafi will be sold in January, because we've got to make some money out of the 3 centre backs that will be leaving for free come next summer. Can't put my words. And Ozil, there's so many rumours going about, as I've touched on. But yeah, go back in the stream, you'll see. We need to see Ozil quick. Well, I think as the Revanite in the chat, Jonathan said in the chat earlier, there's only one league we can really send him to at the moment. That's their because their transfer windows they're still open until the end of the month. And that's the Portuguese league, and I don't think he'd want to go there. So unless an American team comes in, an MLS team comes in with a big wad of cash, again, it's hard to get him off the books, because unless we pay his contract. Which then again, doing that with everything that's happened with Gunnosaurus, the mascot thing and all that, again throw massive shades of God knows what on the club, basically, because hang on, you can't afford 18k a week for a guy in a costume, but you can afford £18 million in one lump sum to get rid of a player. It's a shame that Ozil's not in the Europa League squad. What's the point of him? He's big. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Me and Mitch did have a chat about this when we did the live reaction watch long sort of thing to the Europa League draw. We did say we had the draws planned out and all that, not just about Saliba, but with Ozil as well. If beyond we get past, obviously Monday he's still at a cup. We haven't got rid of his contract or sold him or whatever. It doesn't make sense not to play him because of the sort of wages he's on. But yeah, apparently the club don't think like that. Apparently, well, I don't know what's going on now. But as we all know, there's plenty more twists and turns to come in this dramatic story that is Mesut Ozil versus Arsenal Football Club. And as Melvyn said earlier on the stream, I don't know if he's still here. It's a shame we have to do these sort of shows and talk about this, because it's so negative and there's so much positivity going around the club. There's no need for it. And lastly, again, I keep saying this, and fucking you all come back with loads of chats afterwards. Vine, I told you to be controversial. Controversy creates cash. That's the thing. Even though I'm saying what I've said about this certain person and not rating his content, this, that, and the other, and the fact he's come back and things started up again towards my channel and other people's channels, and when we raised them, oh, surprise, look what's happened again. They've suddenly stopped. The second I start mentioning him again, and just saying, just briefly as well, just briefly today, saying I don't rate what he does, basically content-wise, it's not my cup of tea. I've fucking got a dislike. I mean, like, seriously. But yeah, I'm going to wrap things up now. and got a few plugs in there. Basically, yeah. If you're watching this over on my Facebook page, come over to YouTube, find me on the Mr. Arsenal podcast. Do subscribe to the channel. So hit the notification bell as well. Make sure the bell is grey as well when you hit it. Turn it on. So literally every time I go live, you won't miss this. You will definitely not miss a single one of my shows, basically, because it won't always just be me here on my own. 9 times out of 10, I do have guests on. So we do have guests on, either watch-alongs or podcasts in general, things like that, match previews and things, all that sort of. And as I said last night, I will be being more consistent with my squad ratings as well, because after I did that for the Fulham game, I haven't picked it up since, but I sort of dropped the ball there. But I will, from Man City onwards, be doing squad ratings as well, probably the following day on from the game, depending on whatever time the kickoff is. It sort of depends. Sometimes it'll be the same night. A couple of hours later, I do a player rating thing. If it's like a late kickoff, like the last game of the evening or whatever, then I'll do it the next day, like an early lunchtime or something like that. But all that come clear near the time, basically. But yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, do go over. You want to follow me on social media. You've got my Instagram and Twitter going across the screen as we speak. My Facebook you can find me on my Facebook page, the Mr. Arsenal podcast, which I'll be streaming off again, both things all season. So go give that a follow. I'm literally 4 away from 500 followers on the page. For me, I think it's a good thing, because literally the page has only been up and running for a month and a half now. And literally the viewings I'm getting, especially the watch-alongs, the views I get for the watch-alongs is absolutely crazy. For the page, for the sort of size of the page at the moment, that's absolutely crazy. But appreciate every single one of you that do it as well. So, but if you can come over from Facebook or wherever, however you're watching this, come over to the YouTube channel, do subscribe, and also share the channel around. Tell people, word of mouth, help the channel grow even faster. And yeah, every little helps. I appreciate that vastly, you wouldn't believe. And also, if you're watching this and you're new, do subscribe. You don't have to be an Arsenal fan. You can be us as football journal, because sometimes we just do the odd watch along. We just talk literally most random watch along. That has nothing to do with Arsenal, obviously. At the time, European international breaks, but also we do that Champions League. We'll be doing Champions League watch-alongs on here, along with our Europa League journey on the Thursday night. So we're doing game on Tuesday, game on Wednesday, and then obviously our games on the Thursday. But in the Tuesday, Wednesdays, we'll just talk bollocks, basically, about football in general. It won't just be Arsenal talk. It'll always be the footballing world in that sense. We write the wrongs on this channel. We have a laugh along the way as well. So yeah, until then, guys, thanks for coming along. Thanks for hitting the like button, the ones that have. Even the one person that hit the dislike button, thank you so much, because I know who you are. It's so easy, it's so predictable nowadays. It's unreal. Until then, as always, up the Arsenal.